Thank you for joining us today. This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and we're beginning to close this year out. Wow. And when I say close this year out, we're closing this year out and closing it out magnificently. This is Success Mentorship class number 189. And our topic for today is face the facts, assess your present situation. And this is a part of a four-part series. So be sure to be every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Be here for this. A four-part series. Part one is today, face the facts to assess your present situation. Part two is setting the sails for change. What do you have to do to change your thoughts, your habits, your emotions, your relationships? To then go to part three, which is to set your goals and objectives for the new year. And then part four is a commitment to action to get it done. So that by the time this year ends, we will have completed all four parts and you will be ready to rock and roll. All of our messages are based on our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success. And if you don't have a copy, even if you do have a copy, get another copy. It's available on Amazon, The 12 Universal Laws of Success Super Achiever Edition. It's available on our website, herbertharris.com, and it's available on our special book site, www.12uls.com. So let us get working today. This is a topic that will help us be prepared for the new year. In other words, as we complete this year, it is important that we do two things. That we complete this year at the highest level of vibration, activity, and consciousness as possible, because we will begin next year where we ended this year. So get as far down the line as you can. And then two, to give us some tools to help us close out strong, help us finish this year, and to help us be prepared for next year. So before we get into our message today, let us get ourselves in the proper space, a proper vibration to understand and act on the message received. So let us do our meditation, sit up in our seats. Let's close our outer eyes. Let's open our inner eyes. Take a deep breath. Hold it. Let it out slowly. Take a deep breath. Hold it. Let it out slowly. And just let this peaceful state sink in. And in this state of peace and calmness, I am at peace with myself. Let us affirm that together. I am at peace with myself. Once more, I am at peace with myself. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And in this state of peace and relaxation, our minds are open, receptive, and ready to learn. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let us affirm that together. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Take a deep breath. Hold it. Let it out slowly. All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. We have a great group here, our Success Mentorship Network group. Thank you for being a part of this, and our Facebook and our Instagram groups. Thank you. During the broadcast, you may want to share this with someone else you think need to assess and address their current situation. There's a beautiful quote. Thomas Monson said this: learn from the past, prepare for the future, but live in the present. Learn from the past, prepare for the future, but live in the present. Now, those are some powerful words because it's really saying that the past is instructive, but not captivating. The future is hopeful, but not yet a reality. But today, what we do now is the key to live in the present. So when we talk about assessing, I guess there are three concepts I want to share. That we assess our situation, our condition, so that we can address the aspects of our condition, our situation that we need to change so that we can progress to our goals, to the things we want to be, do, and have. When we look at this, there are two principles that operate absolutely in the universe, and the one is the results and change. That whatever we do in life, we always get results. And life is always changing. Mm. So if we always get results in life, then every day is like a judgment day. You know, we talk about judgment day as the day when that is the manifestation of our thoughts, our feelings, our habits, and our associations. So really and truly, every day is judgment day because we are where we are right now, and the things that we are experiencing right now are a result of our thoughts, our emotions, our habits, and our associations. In other words, we did it. We created it. And so if that is the case, then it is important that we do what must be done to make our present condition predictive of where we want to be, of what we want to do. Change is the key. I want us to have this vision that life is a river. And if you've never been stood beside a river, please go and stand beside a river, because when you stand beside the river is always moving. Okay? So life is a river that flows into the ocean of eternity. And we are like boats on the river of life. There's some people that live their lives in such a way that they're just on the river of life, and they let the river of life take them wherever they want to go, wherever the river wants them to go. And then there are other people that live their life almost like a star on a predetermined trajectory. They guide their boat. They put up sails. They create an engine. They have a rudder. And so they negotiate and navigate through life towards a goal, towards a vision, towards their purpose. And so where we are right now, as we finish this year, it is important that we understand where we are, that we evaluate our present position so that we can set goals to take us where we want to go. You know, that GPS works because of two things. Your GPS requires a destination for where you want to go and a location for where you are. If you cannot put in your location, your GPS is worthless. Similarly, in life, if we cannot put in a destination, something we want to be, do, and have, then our life purpose is not being fulfilled. But in order to make this whole thing work, you have to put in a destination and you have to have a location. And so what we're talking about today is, as we close out this month, close out this year, it is important to understand your location, where you really are right now. So there's some thoughts, some questions to ask yourself. Number one, I think the judge of life, the true judge of life, one of the very wise men said, some men seek gold, other men, the wise man seeks happiness. Some people seek material possessions, but the wise people seek happiness, seek joy. And so the question now is, am I happy? At this point in time and space in your life, in your condition, in your thoughts, in your emotions, in your habits, in your relationships, are you happy? I didn't say, are you rich? Didn't say, are you healthy? I said, are you happy? Because that's the goal of life, to be happy, to be fulfilled, to be joyful. And we accomplish this by living our purpose. So when you ask that question, am I happy? If you say yes, there's a tendency, you say, yes, I'm happy. Man, this has been a great year. There's a tendency to move on. You know, when we have disappointments, when we have failures, we question ourselves. We're like, why did this not work? Why did I end up like this? But when we have success, there's a tendency to just keep rolling. But I say this, if you're happy right now in your life, ask why. Why am I happy? Am I happy because I have accepted my condition? Have accepted a situation of lack and limitation, or accepted a state of mediocrity? That may be a fool's happiness, because we were not created and put here on this earth to be mediocre and to accept what is. God, the creator of all things, everything was created for a purpose. Nothing is, God creates no junk. So the fact that you're alive means that you have a divine purpose. And if you're happy doing nothing, accepting whatever your condition and not growing, you need to look at that. But I think most of us are unhappy. Many of us are unhappy. And we're unhappy because we know we could be more, we could do more, we could have more, we could have greater joy. And so when we assess our present condition, we're really saying, why am I not happy? Am I not happy because I did not accomplish the goals I set out for this year? You know, last January, so many of us set goals. Even December, before last year, the year before last ended, we were setting goals about what we wanted to be, do, and have. Did we follow our own goals? Did we accomplish the things we set out to do? That might be the source of our unhappiness. When we have not, then it's important to pay attention now. What do I have to do to change that? What do I have to do to change my present condition so that the outcome I experience next year will be happier, will be more fulfilling, will bring more joy into my life? If you don't know why you're unhappy, this is really a challenge. Okay, we need to pay attention. Mhm. If you don't know why you're unhappy, then that's a time to seek it out. You know, there's a great spiritual principle that says, seek and you shall find, knocking it shall be opened, asking it shall be answered. So if you're not sure not why you're not happy, then it's time to seek, to find, to get somebody to guide you. When you don't know what's wrong, you may need a coach, you may need a guide, you may need advice. But I think most of us have a good sense of why we're not happy. Maybe our relationships are not good and we're just going through it, you know, unhappy, maybe even abused, but in any event, we're not excited about it. Maybe we have habits. We have a friend that's an alcoholic, and it's amazing, you know, he lives as though the alcohol has taken complete control of his life, and he's a good person, a very skilled workman, has great talents, but yet that liquor can take him completely off track. Maybe it's some relationships. You know, we can be surrounded by people who I won't say they don't love us, they don't understand us, and they have their own vision of who we should be. But whatever it is, this moment, this present moment, you have the power to change that. And the step one is to assess where you're at right now. So how do we go about preparing ourselves, assessing ourselves and preparing ourselves for where we go forward? What you say, baby, thank you so much. As you said, the actions, your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, which include your actions, and your relationships. Where we are right now is because of those four things. So how do we prepare ourselves for the next year? Number one, we got to really want to fix it. Whatever it is that we need to do to become the person we want to be, we've got to want it. We've got to desire it. We've got to want it so strongly. It's like we have to want it as badly as we want to breathe. You know, I always tell the story of the dog sitting on the nail whimpering. And then when the man says, why doesn't the dog get off the nail? And it's because it doesn't hurt badly enough. So are you sitting on a nail right now? Is your whole life operating in a nail environment that's painful, that's unhappy, that's disappointing? Then how long are you going to sit there? What level of pain do you have to experience that will finally force you to take action? So the first key is you got to want to fix it. You have to want to change. You have to want to create the life of your vision, of your dreams. Number two, you got to be honest with yourself. You know, when you look at your success or look at your lack of success, sometimes we want to blame others. No way. Sometimes we want to make excuses. Sometimes we even want to deny our situation. So if this process is going to work, if you're going to prepare yourself for next year, you must be committed to be honest in assessing your present condition. Which leads us to step three. You have to take responsibility for it. Whatever it is, you did it. Whatever it is, you created it. But whatever it is, you can change it. If you don't take responsibility for creating it, it's hard to take responsibility for changing it. So you want to fix it, be honest with yourself, take responsibility. Now comes the practical part, the process. Ben Franklin had a very, very instructive way to determine how to go forth at the end of each year. And what he would do, he would draw a line down the center of the paper, and I recommend that you do this. Draw a line down the center of a sheet of paper, a vertical line, and then draw a horizontal line, almost like a cross. And on the left side, above that cross line, write victories. And the victories are all the good things you accomplished, the good things that you've done. And on the right side of that vertical line, write lessons. And these are all the things that didn't work, all the disappointments, all the things that you had to go through and grow through. And so really sit in the quiet of your mind, in the quiet of your environment, and write down the victories, all the things that you accomplished, the good things that you did. And pay attention, because there's a tendency to overlook our victories. You know, you'll hear people say, you know, I'm only a mom. I'm only a teacher. I'm only a carpenter. Anytime you say I'm only, you have put a limitation on yourself. So give yourself credit. I guarantee you that every one of you listening today has done great things over this last year. And do it sequentially. Start at the back and work to the front. What did you do good yesterday? What were your accomplishments yesterday? What did you overcome yesterday? And then last week. And then last month. It's funny, as you begin to go down that road, you know, Sandra's a farmer's daughter, and when you start plowing a row, as you plow, the more you plow, the better the road looks. And so as you start going down that path of your victories, even the small victories. I got to work on time every day. I was not late a single time. That's a victory. Yeah. You know, Me and my significant other, my spouse, we haven't had an argument in ages. We've been getting along fine. My kids seem to be doing well. Take responsibility. Claim every victory in your environment. On the right side now, that lessons, you got to claim every lesson too. Everything that did not work. I did not get the raise I wanted on my job. I'm worried about being passed over. They're talking about cutting back and downsizing and right sizing. I'm worried about it. Okay? My relationship, me and my spouse, my significant other, we just seem to be on different pages. All of those things that did not work, the lessons of life. And they're necessary. You can't learn to do right until you've done some of the wrong things that lead seeing the results. There's a key to success. A very wise man says the first key to success is right decisions. How do you get right decisions? Experience. How do you get experience? Wrong decisions. So every lesson, every failure you have is a dress rehearsal for success. So it's okay. Don't make a habit of failing. Just say, hey, let me learn this and move on. So Ben Franklin would say, at the end of the day, you take all of your wins, all of your victories, and add them up. And then all of your lessons, add them up. And if you, at the end of and this is your judgment day personality, and you look at it, you say, well, I had a lot more victories than lessons. Then this says to you, as you're going forward, you just need to do more of what you've been doing and do it better. So if you're a business person and you had a good year, then whatever you did to have that good year, do more of it. If you're in a relationship and things are going smooth, then how to even get better at it. On the other hand, if you have a year where you have more defeats than victories, more lessons than victories, then that's a clear sign that you got to do something different. You have to make not just change, but you may have to make drastic change. One of the keys to whether you had success, victories, or lessons is this. Did you have goals for this year? And did you follow and achieve your goals? Did you take action on those goals? See, once you face the facts and you look at that situation where you say, I had a lot more lessons than maybe one of the main causes of lessons and disappointments and failures is lack of goals, lack of clearly defined goals. So now you know that's something you got to work on right now. Okay. And remember this, don't plan for next year. Well, plan for next year, but act now. And so if you look at your situation and say, well, I had no goals, or I wrote my goals. And one of the tip-offs when you ask that question, did I have clearly defined goals for this year? Did I have, now let's rephrase that. Did I have clearly defined written goals for this year? If you can't find the writing, the goals that you wrote at the beginning of this year, then that's a clear indication that you have not followed them. If you can't find them, if you don't know where they are, and definitely if you don't remember them, then that's a cause for your present condition. So, lesson number one, if you didn't have any goals for this year, or if you did not accomplish them, all is not lost. We have less than 40 days, I think, to the end of the year. Set some immediate goals for those next 40 days. Set some goals for the next week. Set some goals to close out this year, because guess what? If you every day between now and the end of the year, if you accomplish 1, 2, or 3 things that you really want to do, then you'll start next year much stronger. And then finally, once you've done your analysis, once you've really analyzed how you got where you are, okay, why you are at the place you're at, then there must be a decision for change. And so after you assess your situation, your decision is this: I draw a line in the sand and I will change the thoughts that have either imprisoned me or released me. Make a commitment, a decision to think thoughts that are empowering, positive possibility thoughts. It does not matter that you're now down at the end of the year and you have not accomplished things. There's some thoughts that you have right now that you can execute over the next few days to make this year successful. Resolve to change the emotions. Maybe there's some things inside you that saying, the reason I have not been successful this year is I have not felt worthy of success. That I have had an emotional block that I still hear ringing around in my head. Someone telling me I can't do it. Someone telling me I don't have what it takes. Resolve to change that. There may be some habits of being tardiness, habits of disorganization, habits of being unprepared, whatever those habits are, resolve to fix them, to replace them with new habits. One key thing is that this change process is often a replacement process. In other words, when you have negative thoughts, replace them with positive thoughts. When you have negative emotions, replace them with positive emotions. When you have negative habits, replace them with positive habits. And then finally, resolve to change the relationships that are either empowering you or keeping you back. Any relationship that's not as facilitating your growth and your flight to your destiny needs to be looked at. This is a critical area because so many times there are so many levels of relationship. There are people you're in relationship with. You know, they often say if you have your hand in the lion's mouth, don't jerk it out. Ease it out. So there may be some relationships right now that we're in, those of you who are listening and watching, that are not good for you. And so figure out a way to ease it out. Because what you do now, what you do today, what you do over these next few days to the end of this year are the most important things that you can do towards making next year the way you want it to be. So to wrap up and summarize, number one, you've got to really want to change. So whatever your life is right now, wherever it is, if you're not happy with it, you got to deeply desire to change it for the better. If you're happy with it and things have been going good, resolve to get better, even better. If things are going great for you, then that's a signal that more is on the way. If you made a ton of money, the next year you're going to make oceans and boatloads of money. To be honest with yourself, you can't fix it if you're making excuses. Success and excuses are completely incompatible concepts. And you know, even the small excuses, many of us have grown so much into making automatic excuses. Be honest with yourself. No excuses, no denials. 3, take responsibility. If it's to be, it's up to me. That's your mantra every day. If it's to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to me. Once you take responsibility for change, it empowers you. It gives you a whole nother level of vibration to bring that change about. Number 4, review your wins and lessons. You got to keep score, folks. Every game you're in, there's a score. There's an ending score. In the game of life, there's a score. Review your wins and review your lessons. And then based on that, face the facts. In fact, number 5 is to set your goals. That now that you realize where you are, to set new goals. Not, you will set goals for next year, but right now the critical goals are the goals that will get you through these next few days. that will get you to the end of this year. I guarantee you there's always something you can do right now to get you closer to where you want to be. So set new goals to get you to where you need to be at the end of this year to prepare you for the goals for next year. Number six, as I said, face the facts. Always face up to the reality you've created for yourself. And resolve, number seven, resolve to make change. Knowing that if it's to be, it's up to me. Knowing that you have the power to create the person you want to be, to do the things you want to do, and to have whatever you want to have. Always knowing that the best is yet to come. And so it is. Thank you so much for being with us today on Instagram, on Facebook, and our live Zoom group, our Success Mentorship members. Be sure to join us over the next 4 weeks as we do the next topics. Next week, we'll talk about setting the sails for change, how to make those changes in your life. Then the following week, we'll talk about setting your goals and objectives. And then the commitment to action, what you have to do to make next year your year for outrageous success. And so it is. Thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to get your copy of the 12 Universal Laws of Success and all of our other success goodies. Go to Amazon or go to our website, herbertharris.com. And so it is.